Okay. Yeah, I'm live, and I'm that initial picture is not correct. There we go. Yep. Okay. So I think I'm live. Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah, I'm live. So, hello everyone. It's Saturday. I'm a couple. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Um, I was watching something on YouTube that was very intriguing and funny. I'll let you in on that in a minute. But yeah, it is Saturday, January 21st, a little after 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining in on a Saturday evening with us shut-ins, or those maybe potentially who are, recuperating from, illness or something, or just for whatever reason are home and just not out doing the party thing, or they're my age and just don't do the party thing anymore, or whatever it might be. Who knows? Maybe every once in a while, I hope I get a few younger folks up on here too, just because it'd be good to get a swath of people. But got a few people up here, so that's cool. Um, but yeah, so going through my day. Of course, today was weekend day for Saturday. Tried to do a good thing and get up somewhat early, and showered and dressed and all that wonderful shit, and just gonna get a bunch of stuff done. And I did. I sort of did. I in the push to get back on the road to financial stability, or whatever the fuck that means in America these days. Doing the thing, trying to lay groundwork for things I got to do, selling my instruments, selling my plasma, the things you do when you're poor, I guess, the things you do if you have to make a little extra money. And I'll tell you what, if I can make a side hustle out of selling my plasma, I mean, I'm all for it. If I could do something that's somewhat helpful and get paid for it, I'm cool with that. So I'm laying that groundwork. Of course, because the universe is a dick and doesn't like to use lubricant, throws a monkey wrench into that particular spanner in the works kind of thing. So something came up with the physical. Blah blah blah. So your doctor has to clear this, otherwise we can't go forward. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm getting the oxygen now. So it's like the universe kind of wins another round of chess. It's sort of like, yeah, okay, but it's all I can do. It's all I can do. I'm gonna do whatever I can, due diligence wise, to move forward as best as I can. Do all of the various things they tell you to do. Get a roommate, get a sell your stuff. Get a. Oh wow, I haven't transitioned over here on YouTube. Sorry guys, I just realized on YouTube I was still on my please stand by mode. Sorry. Um, this is the problem when you have more than one, no director and more than one potential screen. So yeah, I apologize. Anyway, that's been fixed on the YouTube side. The Instagram side, you know what I'm talking about. But I just had my splash screen up and I had forgotten to take it off. Anyway, so moving forward, manifesting, blah blah blah, all that kind of shit. Doing the due diligence about, getting my finances back on track. And look, I really don't want to have to do bankruptcy. I really don't want to have to sell my house if I can help it. So I'm going to try and do everything I possibly can. So that's all I can do. The universe may have other plans for me if I'm going to look at it that way. I'm not a religious person, but I have to. I'm really trying to put some semblance of trust into what the universe is trying to tell me, if that makes any sense. And if the universe is telling me to, like, tell you what, dude, the music thing, we'll tell you what, there are a bunch of guitars you haven't really touched. Get rid of them. It's like, okay. I like having them. is the difference between, they haven't gotten the work out as they should. They're good to just kind of sit in the case, and so I don't know, as much as I endeavored to purchase those things, and they are things, that's the rub, right? It's just sort of like they are things. Down the road, if I'm in a better position, I could potentially rebuy those things, or things that are similar to those things. Um, I mean, shit. There are other guitars out there that I covet, and if I'm able to sell my guitars and kind of get back on a better footing, and God knows, I mean, then maybe I'm setting a groundworks to be able to purchase, one of the other guitars that I'm coveting. Who knows? So I've got to try and look at it that way, so that it doesn't. It'll take the sting out of it a little bit. So, I got the two guitars I was going to immediately sell. I brought them down to the shop, Empire Guitars in Rhode Island, by the way, and they just had a great bit of publicity a couple months ago. What was it? Was it before the New Year? Yeah, it was like last fall, when Mark Maron came into town. He was doing a show at the Columbus in Providence, and anybody who doesn't know who Mark Maron is, he's a stand-up comedian, but he does the podcast WTF, where he interviews folks, but he's also a kind of a hobbyist guitarist and stuff. Like he plays guitars and buys vintage stuff, and he's just a guitar enthusiast, and he's actually pretty damn good. So he's in town, and someone must have turned him on to Empire Guitars, because it is if you're gonna be in Rhode Island and you're looking for vintage, but really good gear, then you want to go to Empire Guitars for sure. And that's electric guitars, acoustic guitars, 6 and 12 bass guitars. They had some keyboards in there as well, a few things. So there, you want to look them up. Anyway, so I went there. First time I actually gone there in person. Brought my guitars in so they could kind of start looking at them and kind of getting a sense of, okay, what are they worth? Am I going to sell them outright? Am I going to consign them? All that stuff. So laying the groundwork is kind of all I can do. That's kind of where I was at. So just so then, so coming back from that, and I just kind of got home, and I had a little bit of time to kind of chill a little bit, have a little dinner or whatever. And, as I do, and this also goes towards like dealing with my finances. Like I pay all this money for like all of the Netflixes and the Hulus and the HBOs and blah blah blah. Do I watch it? Is what I'm paying per month commensurate with how much I'm watching and like how much I'm? No, not at all. I got to cancel that shit. So I've kind of made a thing, pact with myself that this is my last weekend. I'm just gonna quit that stuff for a while. May seem like chump change, but it all adds up. Anyway, so the one thing I tend to go to is actually YouTube, which is free. That tends to be where I go anyway, because not only can I get music stuff, I can get documentaries, I can get stuff from Great Britain, obviously UK, the panel shows and all. That's actually probably my favorite thing. Is watching big fat quizzes, 8 out of 10 cats, does countdown, and all those various shows that the Jimmy Carrs, all that stuff. That's my favorite stuff. Anyway, but I can I don't have to pay for like the BritBox to see the stuff, because we got plenty of people thankfully online that copy it, put it up there, and have at it. And we're talking years and years and years of this shit is up on online that I have to watch. So anyway, so I go to YouTube. It's free, and there's so much shit on there. There's so much good stuff. There's the regular YouTube creators. As my stuff. I'm up here now. Clearly, I feel a bit like I'm trying to kind of interlope into the YouTube community a bit. I'm not. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. So it doesn't really mean anything. But it's sort of it's just I'm just kind of putting it out there that's this is where I'm at this point. Where was I? Sorry, I'm just trying to organize something here on the desktop. Anyway, so I'm watching YouTube, and one of the things that's up on YouTube, um, which I find slightly miraculous, actually. Um, there's a channel called The Wrong Hero, um, and it's Francis Dimeno. He is and or was a sort of, you know, performance artist type slash. I don't want to say stand up comedy. That's too limiting. But so he would come and do shows at the old AS220 on way back, you know, on Richmond Street into Empire Street for years and years and years. And then he was based in Boston. Did a lot of stuff at the Middle East Cafe. And he taped. So he had a video camera. So we had a video camera as early as, like, we're talking, I want to say one of the earliest things that I've seen of his was 1992, maybe even. So he was an early adopter of you know, the video camera, you know, and what it could or couldn't do. I mean, you know, the quality's shite, of course. However, so he taped every show he was involved with. And then what he would do is that he had a local he had his own little show on the local cable TV feed, you know, community cable TV feed, right? And he would just play this shit, you know, and but he clearly still has the archive, right? So he's methodically, slowly digitizing the entire fucking archive, and obviously it's, you know, kind of a crapshoot. Some of the tapes are clearly not in good shape, you know. But you know, so you can kind of see them. But some of them are in actually very good shape. You know, they're no issues at all. So, long story short, he was a regular. He was a regular at the AS220's Cabaret of the Oddly Normal, which was every Saturday night. And you got to remember, this is every fucking week. You know, we probably took time out for holidays here and there. So, you know, during the heyday, starting in, you know, probably, well, it would have been in the late 80s, like 88 or something like that. We did that show on a Saturday, and I'm talking about Meatballs Fluxus now, by the way. If anybody who knows me knows what I'm talking about. You know, AS220 started by Bert Krenka and a few other people. Basically, as far as the AS220 that I know from 1985 to until I left, which was 1999, and then I wasn't really involved at all. I really wasn't involved at all from 99 to the present. And so there was an interim point of AS220 between 99 and probably, like, you know, the early aughts where Bert was still there. So there was a semblance of there was a remnant of what AS220 really was about. And since he left and Susan left, it's kind of become its own different thing. It's pretty much AS220 is a name only. I mean, they're trying to, you know, they've kind of altered the mission, which, or not. I don't want to say altered it. That's a wrong way of saying it. But they've redressed the mission, I think, which does it a disservice. Does a disservice to the name. To be honest, I wish they would just change the fucking name, because using the name at this point, it becomes sort of like, it's kind of like a tribute band. It's like, you know, it's a tribute band to AS220, but it really doesn't resemble anything of what the original AS220 was about. So anyway, long story short, so Cabaret the Oddly Normal, we used to do a show every fucking week. Meatballs Fluxus would get together, if I remember correctly, on a Monday night and create or write the show, rehearse it, whatever. And then Tuesday we would do a dry run, you know, for rehearsing, and then we would do a show on Saturday, and, you know, and this went up through, you know, about, like I said, it was like 87 is when we started as Meatballs. Went through up into 1990. We did a short tour of the front half of the United States, about a month-long tour. Shattered me forever. But then we did some sporadic other touring down south to Memphis and to Chicago. Went there a few times. You know, and then it was for Meatballs. We were pretty much done in '94. So it was a good 6, 7 year run thereabouts, whatever. A lot of work we did. Did a lot of recording. A lot of video stuff. Even though at the time it wasn't a big thing. So I've got a big archive of the stuff that we own or that I take care of, whatever, if you want. And I've been trying to digitize that stuff as well. So anyway, Francis Domino, called The Wrong Hero Network on YouTube. If you look up on YouTube, it's there. And so he's been methodically just putting the shit up there. There's tons of stuff. And I noticed he was doing this probably about a year and a half ago or something like that. Because I just noticed, in my feed, I noticed said something AS220, Cabriolet Normal, Meatballs Fluxus. I went, what? Okay, that's fucking nuts. So, of course, I went to it and went oh, wow, this is real. This is a real, from 90, it was it was 92 or something. And there it was. Cabaret the Oddly Normal, Bert as Sir Guy de Guy and all of his finery and just... not remembering a lick of what the fuck it was. I mean, we did so many shows, God knows. And so he's just been kind of popping them up every once in a while and just keeping, and he's pretty much any show he did, either at AS220, any shows he did at the Middle East, and a few of those, Meatballs Fluxus, when we were doing out-of-town shows, where we did a lot of stuff in Boston and the surrounding sort of state areas, Massachusetts, Connecticut, some in Maine too, and we would. So he filmed those, but he's also filming stuff that he was in especially at the Middle East. I want to say he worked at the Middle East. That's is my thinking, or that was just his main haunt. But there's a ton of we're talking early or 90s reggae bands at the Middle East that he has been. Again, his archive must be fucking amazing. Anyway, so sure enough, tonight I'm just sitting down to dinner before I knew I have to do a show, and suddenly there's a new one up there, and it's oh, fucking hell. I thought he had been done if he was going somewhat chronological order, and and sure enough, it's something from the latter period. It's of the last year that Meatballs Fluxus was a thing. It was around the time of the transition from Richmond Street to Empire Street, which was, early 94. And this would have been, it says it's July something 94. And it's interesting because there is a sense that we were going to continue to do every Saturday. But we didn't. I think we did it for a little bit, but then it really morphed just far and away from it. But, so Francis kept coming, and there's a lot of other AS220 shows that he taped that didn't have Meatballs Fluxus that went through the second iteration of Cabaret the Oddly Normal, which was Princess Pearl with Steve Dubois and sort of a little pickup band, and that went on for a few years as well, and just sort of, but he would do the whole night. So each videotape is a full night of the entertainment Saturday night at an AS220. If you really want to relive those days, if you had ever been to AS220, or if you've never thought, it's pretty hit or miss. There's some good stuff. There's some really horrible, heinous shit. But it was, that was the point. It was very performance art kind of based. It's something you needed to either be okay with. It's you have to have a certain amount of attention span for some of the stuff. But if you allow yourself to kind of click in with it, it's pretty amazing. There's some of the performances we had up there were fucking amazing. You had Manny Pombo, God love him, wherever the hell he is at the moment, doing Zen Psychotic. We had Tom Hurdle, of course, he was a meatball, but he would also do a certain amount of his own solo things. Our sort of performance art Fluxus progeny Frodus did a number of things. So I'm kind of curious as to like certain nights that he may or may not have recorded if he was even there. I'm just kind of awaiting the next one that comes up. So tonight, again, it was late '94, and it had, it was pretty much the last iteration of Meatball's Fluxus before we kind of let it kind of fall off the vine, if you will. And it's funny because there were no real bits to it. It was all pretty much music based. Like there was no, there was a little bit of audience participation, but not really. It was done in a way where there really wasn't much. We were kind of, not to give it away if you wanted to go see it, but one of the things that we always liked to do would be to kind of start playing out in the audience and then do a thing, and then we would go outside and cause a ruckus and come back into a thing, go back outside, cause a ruckus, and that's kind of what it was. But it's it's just funny to see. And then of course I'm looking for myself, playing guitar or whatever, and I'm going, and this is '94, so we're talking. What are we talking? 30 years? Is that right? 94. So, yeah, 30 years ago. Yeah, the motherfucker had hair 30 years ago. And at one point, I was looking at myself and I'm going, "Is that me?" Like there's no gray. It's just it's pretty much just a mustache. It's pretty fucking funny. So yeah, is it like mind-bendingly, gonna change the world kind of stuff? Fuck no. But it's for me, it's a reminder that my life's whatever my life's work or whatever the hell I'm gonna be remembered for. Not that matters, because I kind of don't really care to a degree. On the other hand, I have to remember that I did a lot of fucking work over the last 45 years now. And it's too easy for me, like, so right now the problems I'm having, and things are changing in the music business, changing, the producing, sound engineering thing is changing. I'm old. I'm kind of old school. I hate to say it, kind of am. I mean, I can work digitally, but am I as good as a newcomer at it? No, fuck no. And maybe that's a problem. But otherwise, it's just, I still need to, it's good for me to be able to look back. It's somewhat nostalgic, but on the other hand, it's also just a reminder that I worked my fucking ass off. We all did, I started doing this stuff in 1979. I did my first live audio sound engineering thing in 1979 for a band, which one of the members was actually in Meatball's Fluxus to the very end. Jerry Hero. He's actually was pretty much involved throughout that whole period of time, in a lot of different levels. So it's interesting because we're, from West Warwick, the West Warwick contingent. And so that's a long fucking time. That's 40. Yeah, well, yeah, it's 45 years, right? I think that's right. Yeah. Thereabouts. Give or take a year. That's a long time, and it's a lot of work that I've done that I forget about, because it's easy to forget about the fact that we did a fucking weekly show for fucking years, man. And seeing that some of it was actually committed to some semblance of tape or for posterior to watch or not watch, for that matter, but just the fact that for me, it's just a reminder. It's like, oh shit, yeah, I've got to remember, I've done a lot of work. I'm not the imposter I think I am. And I definitely have that issue, imposter syndrome. So it's easy to kind of get down on oneself when the current circumstances as they are. Play on your mind a little bit, the financial stuff, or just the way my life. I certainly didn't picture my life like this at this age. I don't know. I think part of the problem is that I didn't picture anything. That's on me. That's really on me. I really seriously didn't think I would live beyond 40. And then when I did, I mean, I got the job and I stopped drinking and, but, all the things you have to do as an older adult, taking care of my mother for a number of years, for about, what was it? About almost 8 years. Or no, almost 10 years. Almost 10 years. I was the last of the three siblings to kind of have to deal with her, and I was the last one. So that was a large part of the last 20 years of my life was dealing with her circumstances. Thankfully, I'm not in house or anything like that. We were able to find a place for her that was close by and all that kind of stuff, and afforded her a semblance of a life and with some dignity for the last 10 or so years of her life. And I did, I assisted in that. I fucking did a lot of work. I fucking worked my ass off in that regard too, and I didn't have to, because I had my issues with her, and I could have very easily said, fuck it, I don't want to. How's that? But that's not who I am. But anyway, so long story short, that's why I was late. But it kind of buoyed me a little bit. Getting a little verklempt, actually. No, it did. It kind of buoyed my spirits a little bit. Just because it's been a rough couple of years. And trying to find a path that makes sense for this person that I am now. I'm kind of late to the game, and I've always been the last. I've always been late to the fucking party, man. So as I was mentioning before, when I turned 40, I didn't have a plan beyond that, really. And what plan I had ended up having was sort of more because I've just I needed health insurance, so I got a job. That was it. There was no other plan, really. Now, that said, see, it's too easy for me to just kind of say that and then just write off the last 20 years of my fucking life like nothing happened, like I did nothing. I think because my state of mind was such that I was in recovery from, alcohol abuse. That took a while to kind of get over, but, and I worked through all of that. And I was lucky enough that I wasn't like a lot of folks who, during those times, cause horrific issues, accidents, or injuries, or deaths, or whatever the fuck. Thankfully, I'm knock wood, man. I got lucky in that regard. But after 40, I really didn't have a plan. In my head, I didn't where was I going to be in 5 years? Where was I going to be in 10 years, et cetera, et cetera. Things kind of, life took a turn, though, I look back on it and go, in the past 20 years, I've did how many records? Go figure. And it's just like, I don't think about it. I need to write it down is what I need to do, I need to do, look at a timeline of the work that I've fucking done. I've done more work than I've remembered. You know what I mean? I've done, and I have the archives downstairs. I should just go look and make a goddamn list. So yeah, it's just me ranting on about just this thing. But it's amazing how something like a videotape from 1994 that is not in my hands, that is in another person's hands, capturing a random night, on a Saturday night in Providence, Rhode Island at AS220, where I happened to be playing in this, ubiquitous band of the time. And it's fucking Saturday, January 29th. It's a Saturday too, which is even, it's like January 21st, 2023. We're talking 30 or so years later. Just kind of blows my fucking mind, So it was very unexpected. So a very lovely surprise is what it comes down to. Very lovely surprise today. the day didn't go as fully as planned. Kind of about halfway before the universe just kind of shut me down, and so at least maybe I made the universe feel bad, and it kind of threw me a bone. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to think of it that way, I suppose. But so anyway, long story. So if you're up on YouTube, look for the Wrong Hero Network. It's Francis Dimeno, aka the Wrong Hero Network, and there are a ton of videos. It's if you're looking for a time capsule of the 90s, like the early 90s of what was going on in local performing arts, you'd be hard pressed to find anything better. In all of its ragged, raw, dirty video VHS glory, and you're talking performers who, well, and another thing too is there's a lot of videotape of performers that are no longer with us, especially in Cabaret the Oddly Normal, right? They're the second iteration of the Cabaret, again hosted by Princess Pearl. Princess is no longer with us. Steve Dubois is no longer with us. Tom Paulus no longer with us. Wayne Walschlegel no longer with us. Greg Gemma no longer with us. I mean, just a lot of people. Just Victor no longer with us. It's like it's kind of, that's maybe the slightly sadder point of it. However, on the other hand, it's sort of like, it's nice to see these folks again. Again with the verklempt. So, it's what happens. So, it's anyway, it's just it's a nice diversion when all is said and done. And yeah, so that's I just recommend going up there. I had been also reminiscing about my dream life, especially yesterday, because I had I don't know if anybody else, it would have been Thursday to Friday, sleepy time. If anybody else had as horrific of nightmares as I had. And I'm not going to get horribly wholeheartedly into it. If you want to hear more of the whole story, you can look at my show from last night. I go a little bit deeper into it, but all I know is that again, when I have dreams like that, and I'm just wondering if other people have the same thing happen to them. Like, if you've got a really, really vivid, lucid type of dream where there's a lot of something going on, like you're being chased or something's happening emotionally, or there's just some sort of chaotic or nightmarish or whatever happening, enough to like wake you right the fuck out of a sound sleep and like make you stay awake for a couple hours because you're that freaked out. I just feel like, Friday morning, I mean, I had to go to work and I was out of it. I was just like, I was not prepared for work. I was running late, the whole thing. And sure enough, a colleague of mine was kind of in the same thing. I had wicked nightmares last night. It was very strange, So I'm wondering if there was a confluence of some weird energy on, between Thursday and Friday, that other people may have experienced. I'm just curious, but I, even through into today, so, I had a half day of work yesterday, did a few things, but even this morning, I'm still wrestling with all the shit that I wrestle with as far as the costochondritis and blah, blah, blah. But was able to sleep last night, and then, had dreamed, again, I've been sleeping pretty well for the most part, though just past couple of nights, like even like last night, there wasn't anything nightmarish going on, but the dreams are just lucid, really fucking lucid. And I've been having more and more of them like that. Just my dreams have been really like viscerally real, and I'm remembering them or aspects of them in very, very, very vivid detail. And they say that the brain can't really differentiate between anything that might be vividly imagined and what we would call a realistic experience. The brain doesn't have a clue. Like the brain is, as far as the brain is concerned, it's the same thing, which means that your body has reacted in much the same way. And for me, that Thursday to Friday, the nightmares that I was having, I think about it, and it's like a triggering, man. Anyway, so but yeah, it's just curious. It's just like wondering where other people are at in with things. I am noticing that there are more. Well, one last story before I'll do some singing. So one of the things I was doing today, again, apart from selling instruments, but I also was looking into the idea of donating plasma because they pay your ass, And what's interesting actually is the bigger you are, apparently they pay you more because I don't know, it's more plasma that they can pull. I don't. It's a weight thing, whatever. Anyway. So, but what's interesting, I think, more than anything, this is maybe more of a political thing, but the thing that I find interesting is the fact that it's Saturday and the place is hopping, and you can tell clearly not the only one who are looking at this as a like a side hustle. Probably one of many side hustles to make ends meet. And so I think I'm basically becoming one of them. I have my full-time job. I'm being afforded a few extra hours, as it turns out, with some changes that are being made. It's not permanent, but hopefully something else changes on that score as well. But yeah, so I'm under the assumption that they will allow me to actually donate because I got deferred today, as they say it. Then it can be, I can kind of earmark as I get paid where it's going to go and try and be a little more surgical about it. Ironically, between that and still looking for any other side hustle kinds of things that I can do, since the music production part of things is just not going well. I think it's difficult because more people have access to their own gear. Software. They can do this shit in their living room on their own. You can buy a decent microphone for under $200 and record everything. So yeah, being in the business of a recording studio, unless you have a lot of money to really build a studio, like a real facility, then you're, it's just and I don't have that kind of money. So, even though I'd wanted to kind of outfit the house with the basement that I have, I had plans for it, but it just, COVID kind of killed me, so, it is what it is. But anyway, so the plasma thing is very weird, very odd. Just kind of looking at the age range of folks too. We're talking people clearly in their like mid-20s to folks that are. I saw an elderly woman there. She had to have been at least in her early 70s. So I guess there's not an age range that they don't. There's no cutoff apparently. So, yeah, interesting, weird shit, man. That I'm learning about. But they do say, if you're gonna move forward in this life, then it's you have to be in your comfort zone, outside of your comfort zone. Excuse me. Famously, David Bowie says if you are in that place where you're in the water and your toes are just barely touching the bottom, the sea floor, and you're able to still breathe, that's the best place to be, especially as a creative person. It's like, okay. I'm not sure that's comforting in any way, but I suppose nothing has ever been moved forward without some sort of, risk. Obviously, and just kind of putting things out there, whether you're comfortable with it or not. Sorry, usually I do this beforehand, but however, I was watching television and was not able to get to it before I had to get on. So, and I'm a little stuffy tonight, so I'll see how far I can go before. Still sort of seeing the accolades pour in for David Crosby, who passed away. Sorry. Okay, that's good. Okay, for some reason I felt like the need to do this song first. So it's a song by Mike Nesmith, as recorded during his Monkees days, but later on in the Monkees days. This is from the 1969 album Instant Replay. And definitely in his country vein of things, and kind of still one of my favorites. So hopefully I'll do it right. Let's see what we can do here. Don't wait for me. I'll be a long time coming, unless by then you have told me something that shows how much you care. I've done much more than as a man I should have. Why did you not do all you could have to show how much you care? Over and again I wondered, was I wrong? And I keep thinking that I maybe should have come along. But then there comes a time in every man's life when he must be strong, and my time's come. So if you're gone, then I guess I'll cry and hold to memories of what might have been. And when I finally leave, that will show how much I care. Anyway, I like singing Nez songs because you know I talk about you know talk about nostalgia and or you know the things you've grown up with. I mean, to me, Nesmith's voice is ubiquitous in my mind, in my head. Almost makes me want to do another one, just because I can. So I don't know. Maybe it's a Nez night. I don't know. Why not? This one popped up at the top of the pile. Why the fuck not? Okay. This one is cranberry juice. The 100% stuff, the tart stuff. Good antioxidants. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this song is actually the very first song of Michael Nesmith's solo career that I ever heard, which was from the Loose Salute album, which would have been 1971 or 2 when it was purchased for me by somebody in my family at the time. I just remember being in an upstairs bedroom in my grandmother's old house on Bald Hill Road. And I think my mother, I believe, bringing the album up there, saying they saw it in the thing, and they bought it for me. And, it wasn't exactly Monkees, but, well, it's Michael Nesmith, so it's Monkees enough for me. Because at the time when I was, 6, 7 years old or whatever, of course, the Monkees were the only thing that existed for me. So, but this kind of pushed the sophistication level up a little bit. See the lazy windmill slowly turning, cutting up the marble canyons of the sky. See the dust stay around my feet go churning, moving with the winds down the highways of goodbye. Standing in the lonely light of the silver moon, looking over maps of memories for the road. Standing in the lonely light of the silver moon, with the unexpected destination of my home. Half the thoughts I'm thinking speak in sighs, as that same old wave of loneliness returns, and I can see you when I close my eyes, speaking very softly as you turn. Standing in the lonely light of the silver moon, looking over maps of memories for the road. Standing in the lonely light said, it's another one. It's another fun one to play. Okay, let's see. Otherwise, I didn't have really much planned in general, in particular. But, you know, so I'm just going to go through some things, see what might pop up to do or whatever, and see if I can do it. Let's see. Trying to think here of... let's see. Like I said, I've been kind of just working these out, just kind of, again, just playing, because I need to practice and get my shit back together again. Feeling like I'm being a creative person and not just a lump. It's too easy to be a fucking lump, I tell you what. And I'm really good at it. I don't know about you all, but I'm good at being a lump. I have had a lot of practice. I don't need any more practice. You know, kind of at that point, I really fucking don't. All right, as we were talking a little bit about nostalgia, and actually, you know, that last song, even Silver Moon, is a little bit about nostalgia. I guess if we're going to go with a theme of some sort, we can maybe do that. This next one is also, it's handy because the capo is on the second fret. So sorry, the 12s are being a little finicky tonight. Hang on. That's what happens when... There it is. Okay. I think we're on it now. Let's try it. Let's try this again. Yeah, that's much better. Every time I see your face, it reminds me of the places having hold as the years go by and we grow old and gray. And you're expecting me to live without you, but that's not something that I'm looking forward to. I can't get used to living here while my heart is broke. My tears I cried for you. Now you're expecting me to live without you, but that's not something that I'm looking forward to. Well, every time I see your face, it reminds me of the places we used to go. But all I've got is a photograph, and I realize you're not coming back anymore. Every time I see your face, it reminds me of the places we used to go. I want to hear to have and hold as the years go by and we grow old and gray. Every time I see your face, it reminds me of the places we used to go. Okay. A little nostalgia there for somebody listening in 1973. Song written by Ringo and George, just so you're aware. Yeah. Oh, well, while we're second fretting it. Hang on, my lights are askew. Oh, god damn it. Hang on a second. I can't have my lights askew. I can't do it. I can't have the lights being askew. You see what I'm saying? As far as lights askew goes. Has anybody out there had a day where their lights have been askew? Well, I ask you. Let's see. Let me turn this over here. Sorry. Trying to angle shit so that I can see a little better. I have like a little light here that I can use to just when I need a little bit of a lyrical help here. I guess this is also somewhat nostalgic, really. Not just because of the fact that the person that wrote it is no longer with us, but I suppose it's something. It does go towards what I was saying earlier about What David Bowie used to say about being a creative person and finding the place where you're the most creative is when you're, your toes are just barely touching the seafloor while your head is above water. Yeah. So on that score, I'll play one that I have been finding fun to play again. Do you remember a guy that's been in such an early song? Oh, completely fucked that up. Wow. See, that's what happens. I'm just rehearsing, folks. All right, let me try that again. Yeah. Do you remember a guy that's been in such an early song? I've heard a rumor from ground control. Oh no, don't say it's true. They got a message from the action man. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. I've left all I've needed, love, sordid details following. The shrieking of nothing is killing, just pictures of drab girls in synthesis. And I ain't got no money and I ain't got no hair, but I'm hoping to kick. But the planet is glowing, 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 glowing. Ashes to ashes, funk to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. Time ended getting, I tell myself I'll stay clean tonight, but the little green wheels are following me. Oh no, no, not again. I'm stuck with a valuable friend. I'm happy, hope you're happy too. One flash of light, but no smoking pistol. I've never done good things, I've never done bad things. I never did anything out of the blue. Oh, I want an axe to break the ice. I want to come down right now. Ashes to ashes, fun to funky. We know Major Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. My mother said to get things done, you better not mess with Major Tom. That's a fun one to play. That's always fun to play. As long as I don't fuck it up, then it's fun to play. Let's see. My monitor is telling me I'm low battery, so I'm probably going to lose my monitor in a few minutes. So, So I've got a little bit of under a time crunch here. I might just do a couple more. Call it a night. Go have a snack. And thinking of watching 12 Angry Men tonight. I finally bought the Blu-ray of it. 12 Angry Men being the original, the original film from the early '60s there, with Henry Fonda and Jack Klugman and every major acting luminary from the early '60s that you could ever want on a stage. Anyway, but I'll do a couple more, and then I'm probably gonna go do that, and then you all can go do your thing. Some people will be starting their evening at 9:30, so God knows. Meanwhile, back in the year one, when you belong to no one, you didn't stand a chance, son. And if your pants were undone, 'cause you were bred for humanity, sold to society. One day you'll wake up in the present day, a million generations removed from expectations of being who you really want to be. Skating away, skating away, of the new day. As you push off from the shore, won't you turn your head once more and make your peace with everyone? And for those who choose to stay, we'll live just one more day. Do the things they should have done. As you cross the wilderness, you're spinning in your emptiness. You feel you have to pray, waiting for a sign that the universal mind has written you into the passion play. Skating away, skating away, skating away under the eyes of the new day. As you cross the circle line, well, the ice wall creaks behind. Well, you're a rabbit on the run, and the silver splinters fly in the corner of your eye, shining in the setting sun. But do you ever get the feeling that the story's too damn real and in the present tense? Or that everybody's on the stage and it seems like you're the only person sitting in the audience? Jethro Tull there. And that's kind of what I feel like these days that I'm doing. Skating away. Or trying to. On that thin ice. I think I'm gonna let's see, should I do maybe I could do that one, I don't know. Actually I could do a simple one of these other simple ones here, I think. It's an Elvis Costello ballad. Do you love him? Or is it still too soon to know? When I think back a couple of days before I found you in his spell, was there a warning? What can I say? Should I look away? It's still too soon to know. Well, are you sorry? Or is it still too soon to know? It didn't take much to break us in two. In the way that he came close to touching you, the look in your eyes, I thought I recognized. It's still too soon to know. Is it still too soon to know? I wasn't happy then, I never will be. I wonder, was this ignorance or bliss? It's still too soon to know. Certainly one of his simpler ballads, but it's nonetheless effective, for sure. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do here. What else am I going to try and do? take up when you felt the urge. Tell me as you stand there looking down at me, I want to know just exactly what you see as the sun goes down and the midnight shadows fall. I will think of you. Will you remember me at all? Tell me, do I see a tear? Fell from solid stone. Thought I was alone, talking to the wall. Tell me as you stand there looking down at me, I want to know just exactly what you see as the sun goes down and the midnight shadows fall. I will think of you. Will you remember me at all? Tell me, do I see a tear? Fell from solid stone. Thought I was alone, talking to the wall. That was one written by Bill Chadwick, who was basically the fifth Monkey. He was friends with Mike Nesmith before the Monkees were a thing. He auditioned to be a Monkey. He was number 5 on the roster, so almost made it, and looked uncannily like could be Mickey Dolenz' brother. And his voice is all over the Monkees' work from the start to the finish. So, he wrote a bunch of songs with Davy Jones as well in the later years. So, look Bill Chadwick up. And he's actually up on Facebook with some of his selling some of his photography from those years, which are some of the photos are really amazing, like just stuff you've not seen before. Not just of the Monkees, but of everybody of that era that he would have come across. Let's see. It's almost 9. It's 9:23. All right, I think I'm gonna just do my my one more tune, and I'm gonna call it. It's been about an hour and a half. That seems to be the going rate for my show. About an hour and a half. This is my perspective song. This is my song that puts things in perspective for me. And it's something I need to hear on a day-to-day basis, I think, because the days throw, like the song says, each day is another layer of thin ice, potentially, that we have to deal with. So this puts it in perspective for me, and I hope it does for you as well. Just remember that you're standing on a planet that's evolving and revolving at 900 miles an hour. It's orbiting at 19 miles a second, so it's reckoned the sun is the source of all our power. The sun and you and me and all the stars that we can see are moving at 1,000,000 miles a day in an outer spiral orbit 40,000 miles an hour of the galaxy we call the Milky Way. Our galaxy itself contains 100 billion stars. It's 100,000 light years side to side. It bulges in the middle 16,000 light years thick, but out by us it's just 3,000 light years wide. We're 30,000 light years from galactic central point. We go round every 200 million years. And our galaxy is one of only millions and billions in this amazing and expanding universe. The universe itself keeps on expanding and expanding in all of the directions it can whiz. As fast as it can go at the speed of light, 12 billion miles a minute, and that's the fastest speed there is. So remember when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth. And pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, because there's bugger all down here on Earth. Present company excluded, I say all the time. On that note, I'm going to leave it till tomorrow, Sunday night. Will be another show at 8 o'clock. I, though, will probably not be doing... So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will probably not be a show. Can pretty much confirm that. There will not be a show. Thursday, I'm not sure. It is a work day for me. But I am working in Providence, so potentially get home a little earlier. This past Thursday, as much as I was not in the best mood, I did a show, and it helps. Every little bit helps. So I may just force myself to do a show. And Thursday's like the day I push it through, and then from there, next week, next Saturday, this time is my birthday. So assuming that. Assuming that nobody invites me out to celebrate my birthday, then I will be celebrating on my own here. I'll buy myself a fucking cake, and hopefully somebody will show up to have said metaphorical or virtual birthday cake with me. We'll see. More than likely, there'll be a show of some sort. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. Like I said, I'm going day to day, kind of, sort of, see what happens. Yeah, there's not much more to say tonight, I think. So I'm going to let you go. Have a good night. I will talk to you or see you, or hopefully you'll hang out with me tomorrow. See you later.